Hello everybody and welcome to this series of podcasts by Vajiram and Ravi. This is Pooja Singh and today I have someone who is my personal favorite because I have seen her work and God can I be more impressed. Richa ma'am, welcome to the podcast and I'm so glad you joined us today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
She has been mentoring students from last 2 to 3 years and she has given a lot of good results. And she is also heading our Step Up Mentorship program at Vajiram and Ravi. Ma'am, when you have been going through this whole mentorship journey, what do you think the kind of problems students face, like the most generic ones? Like what are the most generic problems do you see that male as well as female aspirants are facing?
It's actually a very good question to ask because what I have observed from my experience and from all the people that I have mentored throughout is, first of all, many of them have this Phoebe Buffet syndrome. Have you seen Friends?
Yeah.
So they don't even have a plan to begin with. So basically, when you're failing to plan, you're not just compromising the hard work, your own potential, the faith that your people have had on you, but you're also delaying the entire process for yourself. If you as they say that if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
Yeah.
So that is the first biggest mistake that many of us do. The second mistake which I feel is that, first of all, because of lack of planning, their studies are very randomized. And in an era where we are having plethora of resources on Instagram, on Telegram, on YouTube and everywhere, which is very good in its own sense, but one should have the right mind as to choose what is the right resource for themselves and to stick to it. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, he says that pick the right ground and then stick to it.
Okay.
And that is extremely important because otherwise you will always be, going through multiple directions. And if you keep on traversing multiple directions, you will end up reaching nowhere. That is the second thing I feel. And third, I also believe is that there's a lack of self-belief in the students. Most of the energy gets drained because of the simple doubt that, ma'am, whether I'll be able to do it or not. And the best person who could answer this is the student themselves. Now, what leads to this lack of belief, what leads to all these confusions we can talk about it. But of course, there has to be it. The first thing, you have to start with a plan. The second thing is you have to have limited resources and you have to have a commitment towards the process. Okay. That's the very important thing. So I think these are some of the mistakes. One more thing. So, we are also kind of living in an era where there are a lot of ready-made notes available. But it has been the most traditional and, the most significant advice till date that you cannot work upon other people's notes. You have to create your own notes.
Definitely.
So when you kind of try to not make the notes for yourself, that's a sure recipe to failure. Because what happens is, again, quoting another one, that the more you bleed in the practice, the lesser you bleed in the war.
Definitely.
So
cliche but very true.
Yeah. So notes are that practice because you're actually trying to make answer writing. You're actually trying to make the templates. You are trying to make certain notes for your prelim support. So all of these things are very important and these are very basic things. But of course, if one takes it for granted, the entire process becomes a little more tedious and complex for them as compared to other people who have got all of this sorted.
Definitely. Ma'am, I would when I think about this, I think when you make your own notes, right, you get a little different kind of confidence, right? That is your kind of piece of preparation, right? That is your something that belongs to you.
That belongs to you.
Yeah.
You are better able to, replicate into the examination. And you know why you made that note, with what frame of mind. You are the best person who can refine it. Of course, somebody can support you with their notes, but nobody can replace the amount of hard work that you have to put in.
Definitely. When we look at this whole preparation journey, this indeed is a very tiring process, right? It also needs constant hand holding. When you go through this whole UPSC journey, you feel a lot of hurdles that are coming in your path. Coming to mentorship, how does it help in this journey of UPSC? How does mentorship help, or why mentorship is so important, if we say?
So Pooja, the way how I look at mentorship is basically have you heard about this term called catalyst? Catalysts
Yeah.
are used in chemical reactions. The entire objective of using catalyst is to perform the right kind of platform, the right kind of atmosphere for the reactants.
Yeah.
So that the entire reaction could speeden up and they can reach their product as soon as possible.
True.
So in very simple terms, the entire idea of mentorship is to expedite the process for you.
Okay.
Something which could probably take 2 years of time, 3 years of time, could be done in minimal amount of time, depending upon your own individual caliber. So mentorship kind of bridges that gap very quickly, because here you're not only just working with your own experience and hard work, but the experiences of your mentors. And let's say when I talk about the Vajiram's mentorship program, the Step Up mentorship program, we come up with 4 layers of mentorship.
Okay.
So you gain the experience of not just your personal mentor, but the strategic mentors, some supportive mentors like Sajal sir. I also give some sessions, and there is faculty mentorship as well. And then there is an IAS and IPS dedicated mentor as well. So when you are going to the exam, you're not going alone. There are 4 people with you who truly want you to be in that place.
Exactly.
So that kind of energy really helps you out. So that is the first agenda of mentorship program. The second thing is to create the right amount of atmosphere for you.
Okay.
So how to create that right atmosphere, how to choose the right resources for you, how to support you with some of the, let's say some of the learning modules, let's say some of the structured notes, that is also taken care of in the mentorship. So I believe that, and also, mentorship is not a new phenomena.
Yeah.
It has been a secret recipe for, but only a privileged few. They have been mentored by their peers, by their parents, by some of their colleagues, etc. But not all of us used to have it back in the times. But now is a very good time where everybody can access it. So it's a very good time of having a compassionate form of education where not only your emotional needs are taken care of, your academic need is taken care of. So you actually get a very multi-dimensional support for your preparation, especially for a journey like UPSC. It's very arduous.
That is very true, ma'am. Actually, I'm very glad that you came out with this. Mentorship is something which was not available to everyone few years back, right?
Absolutely.
And when you are getting someone like the mentors available in this program, you're getting someone who is able to let you know that what kind of competition is in the market, right?
Definitely.
And also people who will be at the last stage, that IAS, IPS that we are offering, they are sitting already on the next, other side of the table. They have gone through the same journey that you will be going through, and they are actually tasting the successful medicine, right?
Definitely.
So this is definitely, you should invest in. You should definitely go for it.
One more thing
Yeah.
that I would like to highlight, and I actually got reminded of it because you were saying. So, we come across multiple kind of students, and it's a very varied spectrum. You could get one student who's first attempter, never heard of UPSC, just started the preparation, is still working upon the foundational grounds, and next you see a veteran, and they also want, you also want both of them to crack the paper in the very next attempt or whenever is a desired attempt. Now, the thing is, when you are seeking for a personal mentor, you're basically subscribing to somebody who has been there in both the ends of spectrum.
Exactly.
Are you able to relate to that? So, that is one thing where mentorship holds a very strong ground in the terms of UPSC preparation.
True, I definitely will agree that. One more thing, when we talk about mistakes, you must have seen a lot of them that students make. What are the most fundamental mistakes that a student, commit in this preparation?
I think I have already highlighted some of them, but to add upon it, I also feel that having the right company plays a major role in this examination. The kind of atmosphere you accustom yourself to, that makes fundamental difference in changing your energies. Now let's say you're preparing for UPSC and you get to have students, or you get to have people who are not serious about the exam, who are not appreciative of your efforts, who would better go for dining and parties, etc. Then probably you would not relate to them as much, and subconsciously or unconsciously you will also start fading off your intensity or temperament for the preparation with which you came in the exam. So your company matters a lot. In fact, it is said that you are the average of 5 people around you. Right? So one of the biggest mistake one makes is not suitably and consciously choosing their company. Again, the mentor support works in this regard because mentor is the immediate company you have. And here is somebody who has the same bandwidth of frequency as that of you, because both of you want to crack the paper and crack the paper for you. So that social energy also kinds of builds up. Then the kind of social atmosphere you get in that mentorship program, that also matters a lot.
Definitely. When you were talking about how we get distracted, I got reminded of a topper. We had a podcast here a few days back. She was telling one thing, that many students go for a coffee, or let's say to chit chat after the class, and she was like, she also got asked for that coffee, and she said, no, I'll drink my coffee after this when I'll get the results. That kind of dedication you need, and that we as mentors here, we make sure that you follow that. You are answerable to yourself. You follow the path that has been shown to you, right? Ma'am, when we talk about mistakes, how do we make sure that improvement is being done?
So, in order to improvise, first of all, I think the most important thing over here is self-awareness. That you are making the mistake. Being aware of that fact in the first place plays immensely important role. And so how to first of all gain that self-awareness is first of all to be brutally honest with yourself and with the people around you who you genuinely trust. And with the help of this, you will be able to understand that this competition in the UPSC world is pretty ruthless.
True.
We all must agree that we are not equals, but definitely each one is unique. So when I'm saying each one is unique, means everybody has their own strengths, everybody has their own weaknesses. When I'm talking about self-awareness, it's about being aware of your strengths, being aware of your weaknesses, being very comfortable and confident about your strengths, but at the same time being agile enough, being flexible enough to work upon, and be, having that kind of humility to work upon your weaknesses. So let's say a person is there. I've had a mentee, and she is very good at studies. She is literally a scholar, and no matter what question I ask to her, she always has the answer. But the only problem is that she never does answer writing. The way she writes the answers is like an essay she has been writing in her PG degrees. So that is one problem, and that there are many plethora of problems. Everybody has its own. So I particularly believe that how to cure it, it has to start from yourself. It has to start from self-awareness. And second is to build accountability with somebody. You were just talking about the fact that people start digressing away from the path. There has to be somebody to bring you back on the path. For that, there has to be honesty, sincerity, and accountability towards them. Again, talking about mentorship, how do they help you? They basically make you accountable to themselves, and they create follow-ups with you, basically. So, all in all, in the process, you don't feel that you are digressing. Even if you're digressing, you will be catched back again. Yeah.
Good. Very good for them. Okay. Ma'am, let's say someone is coming with a particular topic to you. I really want to know this whole mentorship process. Let's say someone is coming with a topic, say Indian Parliament. They're having issues with it. How do we exactly address that? Give me some examples.
First of all, we'll understand the importance of the topic. The one which you have picked, let's say Indian Parliament, is a very high-yielding topic. So it should be imbibed very deeply, and it should be studied in a little more advanced level as compared to other topics. Now, Indian Parliament has got immense benefits, not just in prelims exam, but for mains exam also. Talking about the prelims exam, the portions that you have to selectively and very precisely read is basically the structure of the Indian Parliament, that it comprises of President and Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then what is the composition? Then in particularly what is the election process of all these houses, all these portfolios. Then after that you should be knowing about what is anti-defection. Now though anti-defection is considered as a separate chapter of Indian Parliament, but it should be read alongside with Indian Parliament only. So you have to read about that. You have to read about multiple offices. For example, offices of presiding officer, the leaders of the houses, especially the leader of opposition. There are multiple motions, there are multiple devices of the parliament, for example, no confidence motion, censure motion, etc. So these things, specific facts about them, you can find it anywhere in a standard book, but they should be very deeply imbibed. The conceptual clarity on them is a key point over here. So upon reading all of this, I can assure you that you will be performing very good in the prelims, but I cannot assure you the same for mains, because mains become little more analytical. So coming back to the same question again, ki how to deal with Indian Parliament from mains perspective. While you have already read about the presiding officers, while you have already read about the ministers, etc., now you have to read about their roles.
Okay.
What challenges their roles play. Alongside, you also have to talk about the parliamentary productivity and how is it decreasing, along with backing up with some of the data, giving best practices like that of the country of Norway. Or, you can also read about the falling representation of women in parliament, in both the legislature, the central one and the state legislature, right? So when you categorically study about prelims and mains about the same topic, so as you can see that when you ask this question to me, because I'm experienced, so I'm able to guide you in just about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This process, if alone you would have taken up the task, would have taken at least 2 to 3 hours of time, because you would have searched across multiple resources. So that easing down of process, the expedition of the thing, the catalyzing effect, that is brought by the mentor.
Definitely. Experience definitely comes in the way when we talk about a mentor. Ma'am, when we say like attempters, right? If a person who is going to give the first attempt, or let's say second or third attempt, is this program different for both of these categories? Like, how is it different if it is?
The objective and the agenda of program remains the same, which is to gain your ultimate success. But the routes would be different for both of them. Because what we vouch for in this program is personalized and integrated mentorship. So how this program works like is basically, when we say that we'll be giving you personalized mentorship, which means that, see, it's not fair for all the students to be subjected to same levels of mentoring and same levels of advice and motivation. It doesn't work that way. Somebody who's coming as a veteran would be having an entirely different approach. They have an entirely different background. Somebody who's coming very fresh is having their own sets of challenges and weaknesses. So basically, we have to forge a path that is different, that is unique to both of them. So the way we present the personalized mentorship is that it is completely different to the rhetoric of one size fits all. It is different for each and every student. Personalized attention is given to each and every student. The second component is about an integration. It is an integrated platform. So, you can think it of as buying a Netflix subscription.
Okay.
So, you get a yearly subscription and all the resources that are available in the Netflix are free to you, are made free of cost to you. So in a very similar fashion, the Vajiram Step Up Mentorship Program works. So the moment you purchase the Step Up Mentorship, all the other modules, the prelims test series, the mains test series, the essay module, the current affair modules, all come in with it. Okay. So it's a good point of convergence. Right?
It is very smartly put. Like for this generation, telling something according to Netflix subscription, that is definitely going to work. I'm going to follow up the same question. How the Step Up Mentorship Program makes sure that you do not have to look anywhere else for your whole preparation? How is it most effective program? Like, you will not be worried for your whole year that, I have to look for this program. Now I have to start preparing for this. Now I have to look for this program. You don't have to go through all this. How is Step Up Mentorship going to do that?
So how Step Up Mentorship helps you is, first of all, let me bring some of the few features for you first. So first and foremost is providing you 4-layered mentorship, which means you are being mentored by a set of mentors. Not just one mentor, but of course one mentor would be there hand holding you throughout. Then second is by supporting you with some of the resources. Now these resources are not to spoon feed you. We don't promote that ideology. We really want to manifest the uniqueness of all the students. So what we provide is supportive material, which means the high yielding thematic videos. There will be workbooks, and the workbooks are created in such a manner that they readily can be applied in the examination, both for prelims and for mains. And they are very dynamic in nature. They keep changing and they keep evolving. So second is through the resource support that we provide. Third is through the current affairs that we provide, because current affair is one of the biggest areas of pain for any aspirant these days, given again the plethora of resources. So what we bring in is a very important current affair program for you, which is a smart current affairs program, and it is driven by Jayan Parikshit sir. So therein you will not be just able to understand all the important current affairs, but also the static part of it. So, your conceptual clarity is also side by side taken care of. Alongside this, we also ensure that, our main focus is that there should be improvement seen in your performance week on week.
Okay.
So our focus is that there should be a lot of micro wins for you, which will eventually aggregate into a larger win. Because if you are, playing your A game from the first day itself, you can be assured that you will be playing your A game on the final examination, right? So how we ensure that? So we have, we have very quantified metrics of doing it. So we have generated report cards.
Okay.
We have it both for the prelims test and the mains test, which are conducted on weekly basis. So not only do you get the mentorship support after each and every test, but you also get it quantified in terms of your report card, so that, we are not just giving you bol bachan kind of advice कि ठीक है आगे सब अच्छा होगा, everything will be fine and आप ये कर लो वो कर लो, but we give you very specific quantified dedicated advices which is reflected on your report cards.
Also will make you face the truth.
Yeah.
That how you are actually performing.
Absolutely.
Ma'am, also when we talk about the features, I also have heard about the workbooks. Please shed some light on that. How workbooks are going to help the aspirant in making notes or making their own set of notes.
Okay. So, first of all, the ideology with which this workbook was created was basically, it is heavily application oriented.
Okay.
Now, workbooks, as the name suggests, they are very workable, which means it needs to be augmented by your knowledge. You should be the one enriching them. We have provided you with the basic material, which will ensure that cutoffs wouldn't be a problem for you. We've provided enough material that you will be able to get good marks in both prelims and mains. The kind of questions that are asked nowadays in prelims, all of them are structured in workbooks, in the prelims workbook. We also have it for mains, structured in a format that facilitates you to get, multiple types of introduction, because I cannot impose one introduction for you for all the topic. Otherwise, everybody would start doing the same. So I will offer you multiplicity of introduction, multiple conclusion, multiple dimensions, multiple stakeholder approach, how to deal with any particular question. All of that is given in workbooks, and they are very concise. They're very, they can be very readily applied, they can be very readily revised also.
Okay.
But of course, what we also expect from the student is that they actively engage with the workbooks, which is very important. They should be able to augment it with the help of current affairs that they have been reading, the other resources that they have been asked to read to. So, learning should always be active in nature. If it's a passive learning, if you're always on a consumption mode, you will never be able to perform in the examination.
Yeah, true. I'm having this little insights of the program. I would like to ask that what the whole year plan would be under this type of mentorship. When, let's say, we are having an aspirant who's coming to us, and first he's very much worried about how are you going to plan my whole year. So briefly tell me about that.
Okay, so let's say if a student comes to me and they're asking about a plan for themselves, first of all, I will have a diagnosis session with them. First of all, I'll try to understand that student better. Okay. So maybe I like to call upon their existing notes, any tests if they have given, any answers if they have written. Because I want some proof of work, some legitimized proof of work to see whether they have, what is their standing. Okay. And I don't just want it in verbal format, I want it in evidential format. The second thing is, I would be asking, let's say you are my student. So I'll be asking you whether, Pooja, you have, what is your standing on NCERT reading? What is your standing with respect to foundational core? And have you been answer writing or not? Also, what is the kind of engagement you have right now, whether you're a college going student or a working professional? So when I'll be able to diagnose you, then only I'll be able to produce an yearly plan for you. And let's say a student is coming up to me who's a full-time aspirant, but has just now started. Okay. Like as if you are coming to me and you're asking me today that I want to give the next year's attempt. So how to prepare for it, and I'm done with my basic NCERTs. Now how to, you make a plan for yourself. So broadly I can tell that we have got 10 months left with us. Okay. And we broadly have to divide them into 4 phases, which means that it would be spanning, each phase would be spanning up to 2.5 months. Agreed? Right. In the first phase, we have to focus on the foundational subjects.
Okay.
Foundational subjects include polity, your history, especially the modern history, and your economy. Now, in these subjects, we are not only going to study them from the prelims perspective, but also from answer writing. And since we are starting, it's not late as such, but it's also, that red line area where it's better you're starting today. Otherwise it would become really late. So let's say you're starting from today, I would really push you to do the answer writing. And how I will facilitate your process is basically, again, acting like as a catalyst, I will provide you some ready-made templates of the answers. I will ensure that you have imbibed the art of answer writing very quickly into the process.
Okay.
So you are not taking a lot of time in order to understand how to write the answers. I will be providing you templates. Okay. I will be providing you the workbook material.
Okay.
So the scratch material is there with you. Now you have to build upon it. So in the first 3 months, in the first 2.5 months, we will be, of course, you have to push a little bit as compared to somebody who started like 12 months back. So of course, the spanning would be different. But in the first one, we'll be focusing on the foundational aspect. And then the second one, we'll start giving you a lot of essays. We'll start giving you... making you focus on the specific areas of mains, which includes, let's say, world history, post-independence, social justice, Indian society, disaster management. They are prominently asked in the mains examination, so focus would be there. Alongside, we would be focusing on the ethics also, but we would not make you go very hardcore on ethics because you have to start up your optional also in the second phase, which would be lasting about December end. From December, we'll start doing optional again. We'll pick up on the optional. We'll focus more on the answer writing of the optional, and I'll also ensure that you are creating some consolidated notes of optional alongside taking up ethics, because I have to make you at least 80% mains ready by end of the February, because after February end you will be going full throttle into prelims preparation.
Okay.
So there will be test series for you for that. So this is how the entire roadmap can be created for you for 1 year.
Okay, ma'am, my next question will be like a little bit underrated, but I really want it to be answered. You have mentored 100 of students, right? And both male and female. Are there any, like conventional issues that female aspirants face that are different from what male aspirants will not be even knowing of, right? So is there any kind of hurdles that female aspirants have in their path in this UPSC journey that world is not even aware of?
Oh, absolutely. Because having mentored a lot of female aspirants, I've found that primarily 2 problems are there. And they are mostly neglected, which is very sad. First is that the kind of family support and the kind of family orientation is there with regards to their preparation. It's very saddening. Because when you see the same scenario happening with a male aspirant, they are not feeling that kind of family pressure. Of course, it's there for them. But the kind of deadline they set for the female aspirant, it's not really fair. It's not you empowering them. It's you basically telling them to be empowered for a certain amount of time, and which is not the kind of empowerment we are looking for.
Yeah.
I actually had a very good kid as a mentee, and she's such a nice student. She's also a scholar, and she's from a very prestigious college of India. Her parents are giving her anxiety all the time. She just gave her first attempt, could not clear prelims with, just few marks. And I'm very happy with her performance. We do understand that parents also have their own anxieties regarding their, female ward. But at the same time, female aspirants get much lesser support in terms of, their family support, their peer support, their friend support as compared to the male aspirants.
True.
The second problem which I felt is, and it needs to be talked about, is about, the health concerns that are growing within female aspirants. I have had so many students, and they are facing from a lot of anxieties, and it is actually coming down to the fact that they are not having best of their healths. Many of them are having PCOS. In fact, many, we must have seen that in today's time, with the kind of diet and the kind of, lifestyles we have, it's very easy that women especially are getting PCOS. And this also happens in the UPSC community. PCOS are actually triggered by factors like stress, lack of active lifestyle, poor circadian rhythm, which basically means that you are waking up the entire night, and this female aspirants have to do. So many of them are getting a lot of hormonal issues in the process, which actually impacts their mental health. It's all originating from the kind of process they are being entrusted upon, which is eventually leading them to having poor health, which is leading them to have, a worse mental health, which impacts the overall performance of theirs. And this is a very vicious circle. So my advice would be for all the female aspirants and also for the community is that we need to support our daughters.
Definitely.
If we really want them to fly high, we don't need to give them empowerment. We need to give them freedom.
I definitely stole this opportunity today because we both are sitting here. I definitely wanted to discuss this because this is the most saddening part, that what you just discussed is not even being acknowledged by actual people. Don't even know about this, right? This is very saddening. And ma'am, please continue with your advice, please.
So my advice would be, first of all, is to have have a very strong support for your daughters, because daughters are working very hard for you. And the way they are passionate about fulfilling their parents' dream it's unlike anybody else.
Definitely.
I've seen that. The second thing is, daughters, the students, the female aspirants and the male aspirants also, please take care of your health. Health is wealth, and it's very underrated, but it's very important in order to sustain in this journey of UPSC. And please, of course, stress is something which has to be there in some amount of quantum. But maybe if it is going overboard, you can go for the therapies. You can also have a very good, a lifestyle which is having some aspects of meditation, yoga, exercise, any kind of physical activity. Try to also indulge into your hobby. I understand you have to study for 10 to 8 hours, but you can have a break in a particular day, and you can also get your hobbies. And I completely understand the anxieties that are there. A sociologist says that women are the faces of anxiety. Okay. Anxiety is another name of women.
True.
And this is very true, because we are deadlined on so many things. And not just deadlined, we are pseudo empowered on so many things that we are pressured to perform, but at the same time we are not given all the right kind of atmosphere that is required to perform. And I'm not saying it for all the people. Some of them have been privileged enough, but this is for majority of the people. And I do feel that prioritize yourself, have a good amount of self-care for yourself, and most importantly, have a very strong self-belief that you are no lesser than anybody else.
Definitely, ma'am. When you said that a little stress is important to be on track, right? It should fuel you up, but don't make sure that fuel doesn't burn you. And when we talk about female empowerment, right? I would give just one example. Female already is empowered, right? You just need to feel that realization within yourself, right? And when we look at current scenario, looking at you, looking at other females who are working here, we'll see in past 5 years, we were having the toppers were mostly girls. So when we look at that, definitely people are coming up. They're supporting their girl child to study more, right? They're giving them time. So I would like to request all the parents who are watching this and all the aspirants, please make them watch this and please support your girl child. Ma'am, in last few words, please give some advice to the students who are going to appear for the 2025 examination.
Right. So anybody who is preparing for 2025, first of all, it's high time that you strategize your preparation. And I'm quoting a very prominent philosopher, that self-awareness is the beginning of all the wisdom. Once you will become self-aware of yourself, you will be able to appreciate your strengths and weaknesses better. And this is how you will be able to generate something which is very important for the examination, that is self-belief.
True.
You need to very intrinsically believe that I will be able to clear the examination. The competencies of all of that, we can take care of it. You will take care of it. But that core self-belief has to be there. Otherwise, you will be doom scrolling on Instagram, searching for motivation, wasting the entire day, not studying anything. And, motivations can give you spike for some time. Like some of the motivations you must have heard of, Manzil ko bhulakar, jiya to kya jiya. But the point is, you are consuming motivation, but you are not doing the actionable work.
True.
If you are not doing the work, you will not be able to perform. One thing I really want to focus on over here is, have a very structured approach, very practical approach towards cracking the examination. And also ensure that if you have forged a path for yourself, If you have made a decision for yourself, please be consistent, please be determined, and be confident about it. Never doubt yourself.
Definitely. And I would again end with this friend reference that you started with Phoebe Buffet. Do have a plan, okay? So, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today.
Pleasure was all mine.
I hope the students were all clarified with the doubts they have about this program. And I hope that they join us. Our Step Up Mentorship batch, 4th batch, is starting from 10th of August. Make sure you enroll. And we will be there to handhold you. We will be back with such amazing sessions again and again. Until then, you have to do just one thing, that is keep studying. Thank you all.